Welcome to episode 2 of your daily dose of Sunday school. Again, we're looking at James White's Scripture Alone. We're learning how the Scriptures are our only ultimate source for spiritual knowledge and how we should honor and obey God. And we're looking again, despite what I said yesterday, at 2 Timothy 3:16 and 17. So James White kind of unpacks these, so I'm going to do that for you today. So again, as Paul's preparing to leave the world, leave Timothy without a guide, what does Timothy need in order to continue to lead the church correctly in a way that is going to honor God, is going to be blameless? So it says, all Scripture is breathed out by God. So some of the older translations will say inspired by God, which of course would both be true, but the consensus is today that the emphasis is, where is Scripture from? Well, you say, well, if it's inspired, it's from God. But it's just very literally breathed out by God. That is, it's coming, just as these words are breathed out by me, that Scripture is breathed out by God. It is from Him. He is the ultimate primary author of it, even though there's human authors as well. So that's important. Thinking, well, how do I know how to obey God? Well, you want to go where He is breathing out. And He has breathed out every word, all Scripture, every word of the Bible. If you've got parts of the Bible that are difficult and boring, this is a correction to thinking that it is an appropriate thing to avoid those parts of the Bible or to skip over them. That there is good. It's an act of faith to say, okay, I don't understand the purpose of all these begats, but maybe one day I will. Maybe this is making me who I need to be as I read through these things. So all Scripture is breathed out by God and profitable for teaching. So that term could be translated doctrine. It talks about teaching. That's what it indicates there. So, hey Timothy, I'm about to die. What do you need to know what doctrine is true? All Scripture. That's what you need. Now, James White did mention kind of an argument made against this that said, well, they didn't have the New Testament yet, so if you say, well, all they need is Scripture and the rest of the Bible hasn't been written, isn't that a problem? Well, no, it's not a problem, because Scripture is finished today, and 500 years before Christ came, God gave the Levites what they needed up to that moment, and the thing that we need up until Christ returns is the whole Old and New Testament. So all Scripture is what we need here, and it's profitable it gives us our doctrine. It also, notice that this seems to go through the whole gamut of Christian ministry, discipling. It also reproves us. It says, hey, you're doing the wrong thing. And I hope we've all experienced that regularly, that we say, oh, I'm not doing right. As we read the Scripture, we study the Scripture. For correction, kind of turns us back around to the way we should be going. And then for training in righteousness. So then we need to be transformed. We need help. We need our mind. Do not be conformed to this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. We need our mind renewed so that we can start walking in the right direction. That the man of God may be competent, equipped for every good work. So Scripture is coming to us from God, and it is giving us what we need for every bit of the Christian life. every bit of it is giving us all that we need for every bit of the Christian life. So maybe think about joining us for we're using the YouVersion Bible app to do some Bible plan, and we'll be able to read the same passages daily and leave comments about what we've read. And so if, like a lot of us, you have more free time than usual, I would encourage you to get on there and sign up and maybe add it to what you're already doing. Anyway, take care. Happy Sunday. God bless.